I started my sports back in Wisconsin. Yes, it's fellow cheesehead here. And hockey, ice hockey back in the day. And so that was a nice violent sport. And then started playing football when about 12 when I moved to Ohio because they didn't have any ice down where I was. So at about 12 started picking up football, played it through high school, and then went to the University of Northern Colorado up here in Greeley, so played 4 years of football in Greeley, and then was drafted by the Cowboys in the 7th round in 1977. Spent 3 years with the Dallas Cowboys as a defensive tackle, defensive end, and then 3.5 years with Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a defensive end, defensive tackle, and then finished my career in 1985 with the Los Angeles Raiders. Played in 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them and lost 1. When you're a professional athlete, and especially in something like football where it's so violent and so damaging physically to the body, it's part of your career, it's part of being in that game, get physically hurt. And so getting physically hurt and dealing with that physical pain, dealing with injuries that limit your physical ability to perform. I was able to perform at a level of physical competition that very few people in the world can do. And so I feel different. And to have that start slipping away with age, let alone now to think that it's not just the knees, it's not just the back, it's not just the shoulders, but it could be my ability to think and remember my best friends. Wow. That's scary. That's really, really scary. The football industry, has never done, what it should do until it has to do it. Football players, professional athletes, are meat on a hoof. I mean, we're just a commodity, and the cost of that commodity, takes away from the potential profit. And so it's not surprising to me at all that the football industry, whether that's at the high school level, whether that's Pop Warner level, whether that's going into the college level where the money is getting so much bigger, and of course then at the pro level where it's multi-billions of dollars, we're just a commodity. And so the question is, to me, is when I look at the increasing potential cost of that, is who should be paying it. I don't expect the NFL to offer anything without being forced to. And when you're 20 years in your 20s, maybe your early 30s, which is where most of the pro athletes are, it's next to impossible to think about when you're in your 50s or when you're in your 60s. You're so about now and how vital I am now that to even think about losing 2 seconds off your 40 time, let alone can I even walk up those stairs without a great deal of pain, you just don't think about that. In my opinion, you'd really have to change the game of football. And very simply, you'd have to change the rules about the use of the head in any kind of a tackle, any kind of a block. You'd have to just totally minimize. When you think about in the early days of football, when they just had the leather helmets and they had no face mask, they were still incredible football players, but they didn't lead with the head. The head went off to the side, and there were much more shoulder and arm tackles. With the NCAA really not having too much incentive, in my opinion, to really protect athletes, I mean, the NCAA is, it's there to make money too. I mean, it's a big money machine, and they have not figured out how to allow the athlete to actually benefit from that money. In fact, the coaches are benefiting by the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Still haven't figured out how to way to get it to the athletes. So the athletes, again, are still a commodity. They're still meat on a hoof. And so without the public outcry to help protect the athletes from themselves, it isn't going to happen. The fact that I can't remember one football play from the 9 years of my professional play, I cannot remember one. Not one play in one Super Bowl, can't remember one. Is that just uniquely the way my brain operates? Is that me just coming into my normal mid-50s? Or is that truly a precursor to something that I should be very concerned about that is related to the head trauma that I had, repeatedly. It's scary, and I don't know. And should the public be concerned? It depends on what you want to pay for, and it depends on what you think is right.